Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Inside of today's video, we're going to be looking at 10 even more broken brawlers within the history of Brawl Stars. So you guys seem to absolutely love yesterday's video, and also let me know down in the comment section below any more future ideas like this I'll be looking to cover on the channel. As you guys know, it's near update season, so we're doing sneak peeks hopefully here in the future. And also Brawl Talk is tomorrow, so let me know if you want me to do a breakdown of it any certain way. Obviously with the new Brawl Pass, we're probably going to be expecting a new brawler, so let me know if you want me to break down the brawler in the Brawl Talk or whatever. Just let me know down in the comment section below. But also before we jump into today's video, make sure you're using the create code in the shop. Mine would be greatly appreciated. And without further ado, let's jump into it. Alright guys, so these are kind of the honorable mentions that I didn't get to cover in yesterday's video, so no real placing in terms of how broken these were. But there's actually some old gameplay. It's actually unlisted on my channel right now, but it was a tough decision between like the old Dynamite meta and the old Spike meta. So Spike has been dominant across lots of metas. Even when he didn't have a curveball, he was still really strong. Everyone used to use him. This meta right here used to be the Dynamite super auto aim meta. So basically with Dynamite, you could hit every single super by auto aim. It was absolutely crazy. I think it's like a 99% chance you'd hit your super with Dynamite, and that just meant that you'd absolutely wreck people, especially on maps with a lot of walls and inside of Heist as well. It was just crazy how good Dynamite was. And with Spike as well, this is kind of like the joint 10th that I was saying. Like Spike curveball used to be absolutely crazy. I think it was like trash on release, and then it got buffed and it just got crazy. Like you just could not dodge curveball, and then over time it did get a little bit of a nerf, but still to this day it's still pretty broken mechanics. So Spike and Dynamite have definitely been broken in the past. Alright guys, so moving into the 9th most honorable mention for one of the most broken brawlers in the history of Brawl Stars, we have a Gale. So a lot of you guys did say this in the comment section below, and I definitely agree. Gale, it wasn't upon his release when it was broken. When it was first released, I remember he really wasn't a strong brawler whatsoever. I believe he got a few buffs, and that launch pad, his gadget, is absolutely insane. It literally redefined the meta inside of the Heist especially. I just remember watching so many competitive games, and literally all it was Gale just launch padding a bunch of base race brawlers like Darryls, Bulls, Spikes, just straight onto the safe. It was so toxic, and this was before Surge's release as well. So obviously everyone remembers the Mr. P, Surge and Gale meta, but when Gale was first released, got a little buff. He was just crazy in every single game mode. He was being used in like gem grab lane, he was being used in Heist everywhere, just every single game mode. Gale was just so strong. That launchpad was super toxic. Now, thankfully, it's not really the best, but definitely back then it used to be so strong. Alright guys, at number 8 with an honorable mention, we have Jacky. Jacky, upon release, was absolutely insanely broken. You can see here, 7,700 HP. I'm not too sure if she had even more HP. Counter Crusher star power was really bad though. Obviously, Hardy Hard Hat came a little bit later, and that just made her even better. But with the gadget as well, she had 3 gadgets. She was just super speedy, really high HP. She was absolutely broken. She could just 2 or 3 tap brawlers with absolute ease. One of the most broken brawlers I've ever seen. And also, it was a meta as well, not too long, I think, after. I'm not surely too of the timeline. I should have probably looked before this, but I definitely remember the Sprout, Jacky, and M's meta. Literally, those 3 brawlers were just insane within like a month period, and Jacky was one of the main reasons for it. She just destroyed everyone in that 1v1 matchup. Alright guys, going into honorable mention number 7, we have 8-bit with the extra life star power. Obviously the star power doesn't exist anymore just because of its broken mechanic inside of Showdown, and this gameplay was actually after the nerf as well. Just struggled to find really any gameplay with it, but I just remember when 8-bit came out with that star power, it was just insanely broken. You used to literally respawn next to the enemy with full ammo. It was just crazy. Like 8-bit just used to absolutely wreck everyone, and it was insane how strong he actually was. Even when they nerfed it repeatedly over and over again, it was just still a broken mechanic. Obviously now we've got the boosted booster. No, not boosted booster. We've got plugged in star power in return for it. So at least 8-bit gets a little bit of speed, and definitely a good rework. But yeah, there was a time where 8-bit was just so toxic, especially considering it was like 6k HP as well. You'd think you'd kill him the first time. It would take you a while to kill him, and then he'll just respawn on top of your face. 8-bit with that extra life was incredibly broken. Alright guys, so hopping into honorable mention number 6. Obviously we've got some Lex gameplay here, because again, I didn't record back here, so big shout out to Lex for the gameplay. But yeah, Mortis in beta was absolutely insane. He was one of the best brawlers in the game for such a long time. His tile dash was absolutely insane, and I think even before it got released into beta, there was like some gameplay with a bunch of YouTubers in a tournament, and he was just even more insane. Like, he was definitely the best brawler inside of the game. His dashes constantly got nerfed as well, and he's just consistently one of the best brawlers inside of the game. Again, I can't really pinpoint the exact time he was most broken, but just trust me, he was absolutely insane. Especially there was like no auto aim inside of a game. You could literally juke shots on top of the enemy. It would still be really hard for the enemy to shoot you, even if he was on top of them. Obviously now you can't really do that because you could just smash the auto aim button with like a Shelly or a button, you just destroy him. So yeah, Mortis was an absolute broken brawler back in the beta days. Alright guys, so now going on to honorable mention number 5, we have Piper upon release. You can literally see it in the gameplay right now that her shots used to literally go off the screen. Her shots were so crazy, like the range on it was insane. You could 2-tap so many different brawlers inside of it, and obviously like people's juking wasn't really good back in the beta days, so it's just really easy to 2-tap people. Again, a big shout out to Lex. I used to always watch his videos back in the beta days, and I just remember seeing this gameplay. Obviously I don't think I unlocked Piper straight away, so seeing this gameplay I was like, wow, I need this brawler. She's absolutely insane, and she was really good for a long period of time as well. So yeah, that's another honorable mention. Piper used to just be able to absolutely wreck everything. Okay guys, so next up at honorable mention number 4, we have Pam. So this wasn't on release with Pam, because Pam used to be like one of the worst brawlers inside of a meta. She then got some buffs and she just became crazy OP. So I think this gameplay, well, it's obviously from Bobby when he used to push #1 in the world. It's like November 2018, but I think for a very long time, Pam was considered one of the best brawlers in the game. She just used to run absolutely riot, especially in game modes like Gem Grab. You just could not kill Pam. She was absolutely insane, especially with that healing turret. And I think, again, it's just because there was like no auto-aim mechanic in the game, and just her normal shot mechanic was just so easy to hit. Especially if you just put that healing station just far back, it used to obviously heal you and your teammates. It was just a really toxic meta, and she was just so strong for a long time. So yeah, trust me, Pam, she was very thick and one of the best brawlers in the game for a long time. Alright guys, so moving into the third honorable mention in the list, we have Edgar upon release. So everyone was crying out for this one. Everyone knows how strong Edgar was. There was Edgar Apocalypse inside of Showdown upon release. With that new gadget, you literally got a free super straight away. You could just jump onto anyone and just kill them instantly. It was just such a toxic meta. Edgar was so strong for at least over a month, I believe. But funnily enough, she actually was, well, he wasn't the strongest in that meta. It was a different one. I'll be going into that one just after this one. But yeah, Edgar was absolutely insane and was for the longest time. There was obviously a period, as I said, in Showdown where literally you just couldn't use anyone but Edgar because of how strong the gadget was. Obviously, Edgar's got quite a few nerfs now, not really too strong in the meta anymore. But yeah, Edgar is one of those brawlers which you got to be careful about, because he can just be insanely broken. Right guys, so jumping into the second honorable mention on the list, we have Byron upon release. Byron upon release was absolutely insane, guys, and as I said, he was actually released, I think, at around the same time as Edgar. I think Edgar was actually after, I'm not entirely sure, but anyways, I just remember Byron being better than Edgar, especially in the rankings. A lot of pro players thought that as well. Byron was just insane. The amount of damage he used to put out, used to be able to heal your teammates so much as well. The splash just used to finish off kills so easily, especially in the meta where there was a lot of B and Carl. It was just such a good and just broken mechanic inside of the game. As you can see here, this is when I was pushing Byron's rank 35. I pushed him incredibly fast, like in 8 hours or something. I lost like 2 games in total because of how broken he was, and people finally realized it, especially if you combine him with like a tank, or in this gameplay, Nita was insanely meta. We could just heal up Nita. She was basically unkillable. It was so strong. Byron for sure was broken upon release. Alright guys, so moving on to the first honorable mention on the list, it has to be Mr. P with the Portal Reinforcement gadget. Mr. P was absolutely insanely broken. I think he was the #1 brawler across every single game mode, and off every single map with this gadget. It just used to be so annoying. You could just throw this gadget onto an enemy, but have to waste sometimes 1 or 2 ammo depending on the brawler, and it essentially just made you win lanes so easily. Mr. P was already one of the strongest brawlers inside of the game at this point, and Mr. P has always those kind of broken periods, right? When Mr. P is so strong, it can be so toxic. It counters so many different mechanics inside of the game, but this meta for sure, it used to be so frustrating. I just remember so many different game modes and maps, like Canal Grande for example. You could just throw a portal onto like a tick or a sprout, and it would literally send them into spawn. It was just absolutely crazy. Mr. P was absolutely broken in this meta. Alright guys, that's the end of today's video. Hope you enjoyed this one. Put down in the comment section below if I missed anything out. I think I covered around 20 broken brawlers. I'm so glad some of these brawlers aren't broken anymore. I think, other than Stu, but this meta isn't really too toxic, not too many broken brawlers inside of it. And for sure, I think the worst one for me, I'd have to say, is probably the Mr. P or the Edgar one. Two such frustrating metas to be a part of. Mr. P, you just used to constantly just shoot the porters. Edgar, it was just unkillable. He used to just be able to jump on anyone and just kill you, so it was kind of toxic. So yeah, that's going to be it for today's video, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.